You're listening to Underestimated, the podcast that helps overwhelmed small business owners turn their size into their unfair advantage so they can grow without burning out. Now here's your host, Shawna.
Do you have a website that you have not looked at in a hot minute? Is it a little outdated? It's so hard to tell sometimes because it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And so it can be hard to look at your website with fresh eyes. So today's episode is going to be about 8 musts that your website needs to have from an outsider's perspective, namely me. But first, I have a favor. If this is not your first episode of Underestimated, please hit pause. I would love a review on whatever your preferred platform is. And it can be 1 word, it can be 5 words, it can be a whole paragraph, but just review it, please. It is helping me to get word out to more small business owners. Thank you. So let's dive into those 8 ideas that I have for you, these musts for a modern website. Number 1, your hero section, or if you're Gen X or older, this is what newspapers used to call above the fold. So your hero section is that first impression, that huge photo or that thing, that headline that grabs people's attention the second they land on your website. So the hero section is arguably the most important section of your website. Are you making the most of it? Well, I have some ideas for how you can do that. The first one is what's your power statement? And there's a great formula that a friend of mine came up with to help speakers like me to state our value. And I think the same thing can be applied to any business. So it goes like this. I help blank to blank so they can blank. So who do you help? Who is your exact right customer? Not just people. I help anyone. Okay. Go listen to my episode on your exact right customers because you are not doing yourself any favors by having such a broad audience. So who do you help? And so we help blank or I help blank. So for me, I help small business owners to blank. What is the problem that you help your customers overcome? That is what goes in the next part. I help small business owners to redefine their branding and marketing so that they can blank. What is the transformation or what's your promise that you are giving to your customers? This is the most important part of this sentence because the transformation speaks directly to their pain point and the outcome that they want. So I've said this before, they are not coming to you to buy a hammer. They're coming to you to get a hammer because they want to hang a picture. They want to, they're not buying a drill because they want a drill. They're buying a drill because they want a hole. Okay. So often I see small businesses focus on what they do and they just list out all the things they do. And they list out all the projects that they work on or it's just a list of features or benefits. And that is not enough today. It has to be specific pain points for a specific type of customer and the transformation that you help them get by working with you. That is where everything comes together. So hero section, fantastic if it's a giant photo or a welcome video from you or from the owner or from whoever, your mom, saying, hey, you have to visit my son's store or whatever. And that giant headline of what you do in the hero section. Okay, so I help small business owners to redefine their branding and marketing so that they can focus on what they really want to do and not spend their time up late at night thinking about how to get another customer or how to make another dollar. That I expounded on mine a little bit just to give you more ideas, but that's what you're going for. So think about that. And let me give you some examples that I came up with. So a handyman. I help older homeowners maintain safe and functional homes so they can live where they love and love where they live. So his audience could be any homeowner. And he's not excluding anybody by saying he works with older homeowners, because he's still going to get referrals from people that he works with, right? And he's still going to get people happening upon his website that aren't going to go, wait a minute, I'm not old, I'm not going to use him. But as somebody who specializes in older homeowners, he is going to get remembered. He's going to stand out. He's going to build trust because he is the guy that does exactly that. So who he helps, I help older homeowners. What's the problem? Maintain safe and functional homes. What's the transformation? So they can live where they love and love where they live. So what about a CPA? I help professionals in the medical field, getting specific, to maximize industry-specific tax savings year-round so that they can focus on people and not spreadsheets. So you have the who does this CPA help? It is not everybody. If you're a CPA who helps everybody, or you just say, I help small businesses, and you're not specific enough, then you're not drilling down enough in a really crowded field. There are far, far, far more CPAs than there are professional speakers. There's probably 5 within a mile radius of me right now here in my office building. Probably one in my office building. I never looked. And so drilling down to who they want to serve, who's their exact right customer, and the problem that they have, and the transformation. One last one, credit unions. We help first responders to keep more of their money so they can serve not just their communities, but their families as well. Okay, so these are 3 compelling ways to write a headline that doesn't just say, your family-owned partner in XYZ industry since 1972, because all of your competitors who've been around more than 10 years have something similar and you're not standing out. So think about that. That's number 1. That was a long number 1. Number 2 of the 8 musts is what happens just below that. Okay, you've got your hero section, your giant photo or your video with your headline. What happens just below that in the sub-hero? I don't know what it's, I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head, but that sub-hero section. This expands on the problem as if you are speaking directly to the customer about why they should hire you. And so let's focus on that handyman again. What I wrote here is from this handyman's perspective. My parents are in their 80s and they love their townhome, but they don't love fixing broken doorknobs or hanging shelves or changing out leaking faucets. So he has just spoken directly to somebody and just given a list of maybe 3 things that he does, but he didn't do a bulleted list saying, these are all the 50 things that I can fix. He's a handyman and he's given examples of, 3 random things. So you get the idea. And so he's expanded on the problem, and now he's going to expand on the transformation. My parents and my other clients enjoy their home without the headaches or the risks that can come from everyday home issues. The older you get, the more that your home can pose a risk. So he's talking directly to that fear, that pain point, and then talking about the why him. So he's got that problem that he starts out with, and he just says a little bit more than he could in the headline, and then a little bit more about the transformation. And here, only here is where we get to the credibility of why him. Most companies put this at the top, and they're already getting to their credibility before they've even related to their client or their client's issue. Now, I love talking about credibility in the form of a story whenever possible, instead of saying, I have been fixing things since I was 8. That's great. And that's a little bit of a story. That's a micro story, but we can do better. So let's take this handyman's website a little further. When I was a kid, I loved working with my grandpa to fix broken appliances, keep the old lawnmower working well, and update his house so he and grandma could live there for what turned out to be 48 years. I still love all those things, and I particularly love helping older folks, as I've done since those days with Grandpa Jim. See how that story is that gave me goosebumps. My grandpa's name was Jim, and he loved to tinker and fix things. So everybody has that person that maybe they're thinking of nostalgically. When you tell a story, they're trying to make it relatable to them. That's human nature. So the more you tell a story about your origin or why you do what you do, why you started your company, what your credibility is in the form of that story, it's going to stand out. It's going to make you more memorable, and it's going to build trust. Number 3, this is a huge pet peeve of mine. Please, 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 please make it easy to contact you. I was just reaching out, matter of fact, to a potential new CPA, and I had to scroll all the way to the very bottom where there was a little thing that said, contact us. So I clicked that, and it took me to a form that I had to fill out before I could even speak to a person or send a quick email or chat with them. So don't just do one method that they can contact you with. And don't just put it in one place. The very most important part is that bar at the very top of your page, above your menu, above everything. Put actual links, put your phone number, make it a clickable link that opens up somebody's phone on their cell phone. Have your email, make it clickable so that it opens an actual email. Have a link to chat, have a link to text, have all the things, have the form, have all of the ways that you have available to you that they can get a hold of you, and put it at the very top. And then pepper it, make sure that it appears on every single page in multiple locations, because people might get sidetracked. They might come back to you. They may decide halfway through the page, oh, I want to reach out to these guys. And then they're scrolling, and then they get sidetracked again. The phone rings, whatever. So make it easy and make it often visible, and make it not just in the way that you prefer that they contact you, but in all the ways different people may prefer to contact you, whether that's a bot that they can chat with to get basic questions answered, whether it is a form, whether it is that they can text you. I hope that you allow texting, because texting is the #1 preferred way of outreach for millennials and Gen Z, and coming up, Gen Alpha, right on their heels. So make sure that it's not just the way you prefer. Number 4, I talked about this a little bit when I was talking about the hero section. Video. Make sure you're using video to its full potential, because it is the #1 trust building method that's out there. It is more trust building than text. It's more trust building than photos. But please, if you have photos on your website, make sure they're not stock photos. Make sure that they are pictures of the real you, the real people on your team, etc. But even better, a video on every single page. Maybe the homepage is a welcome video from you. Maybe the About Us page is a welcome video from the first person that you hired. Maybe another page has testimonials that are in video from real customers. But use video wherever you can, and make it compelling, make it so that they tell stories, but use video. That's number 4. Number 5 is a tip that I learned from a web designer friend of mine, and that is, what are your 3 buckets? Now, humans like to think in threes. So if you do more than one thing, split it up into 3 boxes on your website. And this goes after your hero section, after your sub-hero section that you're talking about in greater depth, their problem, the transformation, your credibility. Next is a great place to put your 3 buckets. So these are the 3 main things that we do. And each bucket has a blurb about that thing, and then a link to a page on your website where they can get more information. But it also has a link where they can contact you right away about that thing if they don't want to go to the next page. So for me, that is speaking is one of my buckets. Consulting is another one of my buckets. And coaching for small business owners is my 3rd bucket. So those would be the 3 main buckets that I would have on my homepage. Easy peasy. What are your 3 buckets? Figure those out, and it's just an easier way to structure your website so people don't have to Figure it out after scroll. Number 6. Do you know what the most visited page on your website is after your homepage? Homepage is number 1. Number 2, about us. Especially since COVID, we are longing for more human connection and we are longing for more trust. And we are looking at the companies we deal with, unless you are just transactional and they just want to go to your website, buy the thing, and they don't care. That's risky. That means you have to have the lowest price. Better yet, if you can compel them to stay by humanizing yourself, humanizing your team, humanizing your vendors, your customers, your shop dog, humanize your shop dog. Anything that you can do on your About Us page that humanizes you is going to help your page to connect more, establish trust, all of those things. So again, real photos of your staff, preferably not headshots anymore. Professional headshots make them blend into the landscape. Make your company blend in. It doesn't do anything for you. Yes, I know that you might want to look professional, but it is still better for being more memorable, standing out, building trust. If you have each of your employees having their picture taken doing something they love, because the real them comes out. If they are paddleboarding or they're reading a book in their favorite coffee shop or whatever, just have them doing something that they love. I saw a great website that tackled this in 2 different ways. They had both the professional picture and the fun, real picture of that same person on the website. And they had the professional blurb about them. And then they had, 3 memorable things about Julie, and then, personal things like that. So make your About Us page as robust as it can be by out-humaning the boring About Us pages of your competitors. Number 7, I have a whole episode on GEO versus SEO. So you've heard of search engine optimization. GEO is the next level, generative engine optimization, or AEO, which is artificial intelligence finding you through your website and your credibility and your reputation, not keywords anymore. So yes, of course, you still want to do the keywords. SEO is still ranking you for that for the time being. That'll probably last another several years, but AI is finding you differently now. And when you search for anything in Google, AI is answering you now at the top in conversational format and probably giving 2 or 3 recommendations. And that comes above the sponsored results, and below the sponsored results come the SEO results. So at the very top, AEO is already ranking on the biggest search engine in the world. So GEO means you have to present your expertise by answering questions that people would ask. And the best way to do this is have an FAQ on every page and populate that FAQ with questions your customers would really ask in the language they would ask it in. And if there are 4 different ways for them to ask one question, great. Ask it 4 different ways on 4 different pages of your website. You cover all your bases. But on your About Us page, there should be an FAQ at the bottom of your homepage. There should be an FAQ, even the bottom of your contact page. Put that everywhere. But also, if you have a blog page, make sure that your blogs these days going forward are stating the exact question that your customer would search for, and then answering that in the body of the blog, rather than keyword stuffing, which is getting less valuable. Still valuable, but it's getting less valuable by the day. And number 8, I harp on this all the time, and so I wanted to end on this one. Please don't talk like a brochure on your website. It is not building trust. It is not helping you stand out, and it is not making you memorable. It is lumping you in to the landscape, that sea of sameness with all of your competitors. Stand out by talking like a real person. This is what your customers are craving today, no matter their age. Even boomers are thinking this way, and they are the most traditional of all of the generations. They are the oldest major generation. There are still traditionalists who are elderly that are left, But then boomers and even boomers want conversational language on your website. And this conversational language solves part of your GEO issues because you are just answering them as if you're talking to a neighbor. You're just talking about yourself like you're talking to a friend or an acquaintance or a customer that you already know and like. So when you go through, and I'm not suggesting you go through and throw away your website and start over. I'm saying go through a section a week or a page a week or a page a month, whatever you have the bandwidth for. And as you are rethinking that page and how it can be more effective, rewrite it with that person or persons in mind as if they're sitting across the desk from you and you are saying these things to them. It should be as conversational as possible. This is what your audience is craving. I don't care if you're a funeral home. I don't care if you are a manufacturer of picture frames. It doesn't matter, especially if you are selling something like picture frames that can be perceived as a dime a dozen or, $50 a dozen, maybe, I don't know. But even more so, you need to talk like a real human and set yourself apart from everybody else who's selling something that your customer has a hard time perceiving as different early on or ever. So with that, please, if this was your first episode or your 15th episode, please take a moment and give me that review on your preferred platform. Please, I so appreciate it. And I will give you, let me know you did it. I will give you a virtual pet or a meme. Let me know what you want and I will do that. And be sure and tag me in your social media so I can help amplify your social media presence by collaborating with you and giving a shout out to you on my social media. Thanks. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Underestimated, hosted by Shawna Suko. To connect with Shawna, go to thebuyerinsider.com.